what happened that made a teacher emotionally collapse during class. I remember that morning like it was yesterday. I was in 8th grade, sitting in homeroom, fiddling with my backpack while everyone chatted about weekend plans. The date was September 11th, 2001, but none of us knew what was coming. I lived in a small commuter town in New Jersey, about 15 miles from Manhattan, right across the Hudson River. From my house, on clear days you could spot the Twin Towers standing tall in the distance. That day though, everything changed. The first plane hit while we were settling in, but we didn't know right away. The school intercom crackled on a few minutes later with some vague announcement about an accident in New York. Then the second plane struck, and things got real fast. My teacher, Mrs. Thompson, her husband worked in one of the towers, froze for a second when the news filtered in through the radio someone had turned on in the corner. Her face went pale, and she muttered something under her breath before addressing the class. "Listen up," she said, her voice steady at first but with an edge. "If any of you have parents who work at the World Trade Center, head to the office right now. They'll help you there." That set off chaos. Kids started whispering, a couple stood up looking scared, and one girl burst into tears because her dad commuted there every day. The hallway outside turned into a mess of running feet and worried voices as students poured out from other classrooms. For the rest of us, Mrs. Thompson asked us to sit quietly. She pulled out her cell phone. Back then, not everyone had one, and started dialing her husband. I was close enough to her desk to see her fingers shaking as she hit redial over and over. No answer. The room was dead silent, except for the faint beeps from her phone and the distant hum of the school's PA system giving updates. She paced a little, trying to act normal, checking on us with quick glances. "Everyone okay? Just stay in your seats," she'd say, but her eyes kept darting back to the phone. As the minutes dragged on, she started breaking down. Her breathing got heavier, and she wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. Still, she didn't stop calling. Redial, wait, no answer, redial again. It was like she was clinging to that phone, as if it was the only thing keeping her together. I felt this pit in my stomach watching her. Here was our teacher, always so put together, now unraveling right in front of us. She was trying so hard to keep it professional, making sure no one freaked out, but you could see the panic building. Her hands trembled, and her voice cracked when she finally said, "Okay, we're going to evacuate soon. Line up by the door." By the time the principal announced the full evacuation, Mrs. Thompson was barely holding on. She herded us out into the hall, phone still pressed to her ear, redialing as we walked. Outside, the air had this weird, acrid smell drifting over from the city, and if you looked east, you could see the smoke plume rising huge against the sky. It hit me then how close we were to it all. We got loaded onto buses to go home early, and I caught one last glimpse of her standing there, talking to another teacher, her face streaked with tears. Later, we found out her husband made it out okay, but not everyone was that lucky. 12 people from our town died that day. Neighbors, parents of kids I knew, folks you'd see at the grocery store or the train station. It sucked. The whole community felt broken for months. Funerals, empty seats at school events, that constant reminder every time you looked toward the city skyline. For me, 9/11 wasn't just some distant news story. It was Mrs. Thompson's shaking hands and that endless redialing that stuck with me the most.